Hello, family. Hello, world. Everything is on, everything's in chaos and everything's new and everything changed within a few days. So we are all facing around the whole world similar situations of not being able to travel and having to cancel our holidays. And what used to be our regular income is no longer a regular income. And kids used to go to school and now they're home. And it doesn't end there. We know that. So some of us are also popping up to share what we can to make the situation easier, delivering vegetables and food, bringing people to medical centers, and so forth. And what I do is I use self-inquiry to reduce stress. And since that's something we're all facing right now, I thought this is something that I can share. I typically work with people who have been in abusive situations and work with them and support them in transforming their fate from the inside out. And I just realized how the situations has a magnitude that's changing all of our lives in many ways. And I thought, why not just a little less stress in the whole process? Why not a little less stress? So we're using the work of Byron Katie as a sociologist and a certified facilitator in the work. I love getting still and noticing how the end of suffering starts right now from the inside. So I invite you to grab a piece of paper and a pencil. And today, noticing how the stock market is just sinking and sinking. Sometimes feel like it looks like the bottomless ocean. Today, we're going to dive into the topic of the stock market. And the worksheet that I filled out is on the stock market. And when I use the word worksheet, that means at thework.com, there's Judge Your Neighbor worksheets, and we can download them for free, print them out. There's also the Work app that costs $1, and we can download it on our phone, and don't need to write. We can just type. So that's also an option. So I'm scared. This is the way it goes once you fill out the worksheet. And the work is meditation. I'm so scared of the stock market. So I invite you to find a time where you are feeling scared of the stock market in the past couple days. Because the virus is crashing the stock market. I want the stock market to not be influenced by the virus. The stock market should be supported and grow stronger with the coronavirus. I need the stock market to provide comfort and security. The stock market is dangerous, is risky, is in a crisis, is unpredictable, is weak, is alone, is out of control, is destroying everything. I do not ever want to be afraid of the stock market falling lower again. So that is what a worksheet sounds like when it's been filled out. And then what we do is we're going to start here at the top with the coronavirus is crashing the stock market. And then once we have our statement down, the virus is crashing the stock market, we then use 4 questions and turnarounds to inquire into them. So I invite you to find your answers as you hear me finding mine. And the first question is it true? And it sounds like the virus is crashing the stock market. Is it true? And I find my question, yes. So the answer to question 1, is it true, is either a yes or a no. The virus is crashing the stock market. And to get our answers, we want them to stick. So the only way to do that is to listen for your answer. And it's in you, waiting for you to discover it. So question 1 and question 2 are invitations for contemplation. They're invitations to get still, and they're invitations for you to notice what is true for you. And the answers, yes or no, they're not like answering on a math exam. There's no superior right or wrong here. It's your interior right or wrong, yes or no. And both answers are equal. So the virus is crashing the stock market. I'm going to go and listen to mine. The virus is crashing the stock market. Is it true? And the answer I have is no. And when you have a yes, honor it. And then we go on to question 2. And question 2 sounds like, can you absolutely know it's true? The virus is crashing the stock market. And close your eyes and witness. And the answer is a yes or a no. And then write your answer down. Question 3 is, how do you react? What happens when you believe the thought the virus is crashing the stock market? So how do you react? What happens when you believe the thought the virus is crashing the stock market? So I notice panic. I notice images of the depression of the 30s. I think of the game Monopoly that came out then. I think of how there's the one thing is we stop spending money. The other is businesses are closing. These are images I see in my mind of the future. The virus is crashing the stock market. I feel panic within me. In my mind's eye, I see me groping onto life the way we know it, wanting it to stay the way it is. The things, the rhythms, the daily structures. It's like I'm noticing a rigidity. I'm not willing for change. I don't want change. I feel my whole body going up against it. The virus is crashing the stock market. And I feel really vulnerable. I notice how life, the way I know it, is completely dependent on everything going the way it goes, as it's been up to now. I notice a lot of fear for the future. I'm noticing it, in my mind's eye, I'm noticing these layers of fear. One is, don't get sick. Don't let your daughter get sick. Listen to that language, eh? As if I'd be responsible if she gets sick. The I'm noticing these layers of being able to buy food. I'm noticing these layers of the companies that I trust, that their stocks maintain so that they can keep operating. I'm noticing a lot of fear in my mind's eye. I see a lot of companies closing. I see huge conglomerates coming up and just buying them up. The virus is crushing the stock market. I even see other images of the the huge tsunami that destroyed coasts along Thailand and other ones back in 2008, and I'm or before that 2002, and I'm seeing the Naomi's Klein's book in my mind of the shock doctrine and how governments and the market use these huge changes to make other changes that we're unaware of. And I notice a lot of fear in me. So this work is meditation. And when you feel the need, I invite you to press pause here and to keep noticing what reactions come up. The other day, yesterday when they announced that lockdown, everything's going to be closed, only foods and drugstores are going to be open. Like my first reaction was just to cry. And, sometimes in question 3, how do you react? What happens when you believe this thought? Sometimes there's a lot of emotion that's connected to it. And our emotion has a right to life. So I invite you to provide yourself with a comfortable space where those tears can come out, where that fright can be experienced and serve its purpose to just be experienced and to come back to stillness. Come back to stillness. And we're going to move on to question 4. So question 4 is, who would you be in the same situation without the thought? So I'm noticing for me, the virus is crashing the stock market. Without the thought, I'm amazed. I'm seeing my phone, I'm seeing all these lines going down, and I'm fascinated. Without the thought, there's no images coming from this horrifying past situations that completely changed the fabric of society. And there's without the thought, there's no projection there's no stories of the future that life as we know it is done. Without the thought, there's fascination, there's curiosity, and there's resonance. I feel safe. I can feel my breath. I'm satisfied with what I do. I'm satisfied with my work. Present. Now, after we go through the 4 questions, we go to the turnarounds. And this is another spot where it's so important to have our pen and paper to help us keep track of what we're doing. The turnarounds are like mathematical equations. To all of you who love math, this is super. And for all of us who don't like math, it's fine. You'll be able to do it perfectly as well too. What we do is with the turnarounds, it's like our mind is this incredible prism. I love these little glass pieces that I have here. So our mind is a glass prism. And what we do is we want to just for example, my mind is seen through here and is stuck there that the virus is crashing the stock market. And so what the turnarounds do is they invite us, they provide the space. Okay, so we provide ourselves with a space, and in so doing, we provide our mind with a space to notice how another side can be equally true. We do this work for freedom. And that's the motive, to be able to see how other opposites are equally true. So a turnaround, for the turnarounds, what we do is we only ever change one statement in the sentence to one opposite. And then we go to the next turnaround where we change one other thing from the original statement. And then we go to the third turnaround, and from the original statement, we turn one other aspect into the opposite. So when we write this down, the virus is crashing the stock market. The first one that we're going to turn around is to the opposite. The virus is not crashing the stock market. Now, our mind is really clever, and we're not going to try to convince ourselves of this, because that's just like more argument and more pain. And we don't like that. It doesn't serve us peace, even though we do it. So what we're going to do now, so once we have another perspective through here, the virus is not crashing the stock market, is we go into meditation again, and we witness 3 concrete Beispiel examples. Sorry, my German's coming up. 3 concrete, detailed examples how this is also true. The virus is not crashing the stock market. How can this be true? Okay, I have an example, and the first example is the virus is not crashing the stock market because it's people who take their money out or put their money in. It's the fear that we carry in us that make us desperate to make a change. And it's the third example that I'm seeing is a desire for security, for control. And there's a fourth example that I'm noticing. The virus is not crashing the stock market because it can't. It's a virus. It affects humans, and it has no hands and no capacity to go onto its phone and purchase or sell on the stock market. Now, when you have other examples, I invite you to share them in the comments. Then we're going to go to the next turnaround. The virus is not crashing the stock, so the virus is crashing the stock market. Now, we're going to turn it around to the opposite of virus. What would that be? What would be the opposite of virus? The health is crashing the stock market. Oh, I'm going to use virus like as weakness, and I'm going to use the resiliency. The resiliency is crashing the stock market. So this is turnaround number 2. The resiliency is crashing the stock market. So I'm going to get still. This is meditation. And what examples do I witness? What are 3 concrete, specific examples how this can be true? Yeah, I'm seeing our resiliency as human species to be like, we're so vulnerable to fear. The resiliency is crashing the stock market. So in the sense that our resiliency, our vulnerability to fear is just crashing the stock market. The resiliency is crashing the stock market because our human capacity to do what we need to do to protect ourselves. When we believe these horrifying images of the future, it's like, what do we do? What can I do now when I believe those images? What do I do now to protect myself? And the third example is resiliency is crashing the stock market. It's like we, as a planet, have never been in a situation like this before. So our resiliency to look back and to understand what took place back then at any uncontrollable stock market crash. And in my mind, I have the 30s. So the resiliency is crashing the stock market because we have no capacity to see the future. We are stuck on this scary image of the past. And then we're going to turn it around, the stock market. And turning around the stock market to security. And we could turn around the stock market to different things and recognizing that the stock market, the financial way, the way we know it, has been security. So the virus is crashing the security. And I see that as being equally true or truer. And the idea is the virus is crashing the security that we have in money. Even with billions of money on my account, it doesn't provide a security. It provides no confirmation for the future. And the value of money is also able to fluctuate. So, with or without the billions on my account, or even with 5 francs on my account, the virus is crashing security because security now needs to come from somewhere else. And as a living turnaround, like, how is this true? I notice that security doesn't come from money. And putting security in money is really stressful. So this is my living way to serve humanity in this moment. So our time's up for today, and I so look forward to sharing more with you in the future. And if you would like to come on here live with me, then let's do that. And I invite you to come with your worksheet. So, loving you and adoration to you wherever you are right now with the virus in the stock market. We'll continue this later. Bye.